Here we have a dark scene on the regular shooting mode, program AE shooting mode. All other shooting modes are almost pretty much dark until we get to the night mode, where camera significantly reduces the shutter speed and increases the gain to achieve a bright scene, which leads to some level of motion blur and grainy noise on the video that could be adjusted. In this camcorder, I can push the photo button halfway through to take a peek at shutter speed and aperture value. Bottom right corner is the 27 hundredths of a second is the shutter speed, which is almost 1/4 of a second, kind of a slow shutter speed. So there are ways to adjust that in each camera. Even the consumer ones, you can go find the exposure, and by adjusting and reducing the exposure, you will enhance your shutter speed. So that's how algorithm works. By reducing the exposure, this is Canon camera. First it goes after the shutter speed until 1/12 of a second. Then after that, if you still reduce the exposure, it will go after gain, and it starts reducing the gain. That results in better noise and cleaner image. So right now reducing to -3 exposure, and we see the shutter speed is improved from 1/4 of a second to 1/6 of a second, which is results in a little bit better motion blur. As you can see here, gave us 1/9 of a second, 1/10 of a second, -3, 1/9 of a second, which is something acceptable for some scenes. So you reduce the exposure until you're satisfied with the motion blur. On other hand, you can, instead of reducing exposure, you can increase the exposure. If your scene is very stationary, you just wanted to capture those stationary objects in the scene, you don't really care about the moving objects like people moving. You can see the shutter speed has significantly slowed down to 4/10 of a second. Here we have some very fast moving object with some lights. Then you can see if you reduce the exposure up to -7, you will get kind of a good acceptable light and some motion blur for that specific object. There's also other ways to achieve that, is using TV time value shooting mode, which is available in most camcorders, and fix the shutter speed in TV, adjust the exposure, which leads to adjusting the gain value. So unlike the night mode that selects the bracket for your shutter speed at 1/12 of a second, you can select your own shutter speed from where you can start adjusting gain. For example, you want to start adjusting gain after 1/9 of a second instead of 1/12 of a second that night mode dictates to you. For example, in this camera, it only allows 6 or 12 because the frame rate per second is 24. By changing your frame rate to 60, you can get different shutter speeds like 15 or 8 instead of 12 and 6. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.